There's a particular kind of exhaustion that feels deeper than just being tired. It's not the pleasant ache after a long day of meaningful work. It's a bone-deep weariness, a soul fatigue. It's the feeling of waking up already drained, the feeling that your inner battery never fully recharges no matter how much you sleep. Your mind is foggy, your patience is thin, your motivation is gone. You feel hollowed out. We have a modern name for this state: burnout. We blame our jobs, our schedules, our responsibilities. We tell ourselves we just need a vacation, a new planner, more self-care. And so we try. We take the bubble baths. We drink the green juice. We go to bed earlier. But the weariness remains. A persistent, heavy fog that colors everything. I have been there. I remember a point in my life where I believed my exhaustion was just the price of admission for being a responsible adult. I thought it was normal. But what if it's not? What if that profound exhaustion is not just a symptom of a busy life, but a message from a deeper part of you? What if burnout is actually a distress signal from your neglected shadow? The great psychiatrist Carl Jung believed that the energy we use to suppress the disowned parts of ourselves, our anger, our needs, our unlived dreams, is immense. He understood that this act of self-suppression is one of the most draining things a human can do. Today, we will challenge the story you've been telling yourself about your exhaustion. We will explore the radical idea that your fatigue might not be a problem to be managed, but a sacred invitation to be understood. An invitation to finally meet the parts of you that are demanding your attention. Let's first look at the conventional story of burnout. The modern world sells us a very specific narrative about exhaustion. Burnout, we are told, is a problem of resource management. It's an equation of inputs and outputs. Too much work, too little sleep. Too many demands, too few vacations. Too much stress, not enough meditation. The solution, therefore, is to rebalance the equation, to optimize our schedules, delegate tasks, practice mindfulness, and, of course, engage in more self-care. We approach our own energy like a bank account, trying to manage deposits and withdrawals. And when we are overdrawn, we feel a sense of personal failure. I'm not managing my time well enough. I'm not resilient enough. And for some, this model works. A vacation or a lighter schedule does indeed recharge their batteries. But for a specific kind of person, the giver, the people pleaser, the good one, this model consistently fails. You take the vacation, and within a week of returning, the bone-deep weariness is back. You start the meditation practice, but you're too tired to even focus. You get more sleep, but you still wake up feeling like you've run a marathon. Why? Because the problem isn't the equation. The problem is that there is a massive, hidden expenditure of energy that you are not even accounting for. This is the energy of self-suppression. Carl Jung had a concept he called psychic energy, or libido. He didn't mean it just in the Freudian sexual sense, but as the total life force of the psyche. All of our thoughts, feelings, and actions require this energy. Now, imagine a large portion of this precious life force being diverted every single day to a single exhausting task, holding down your shadow. Think about the sheer amount of energy it takes to be nice all the time. It takes energy to smile when you feel anger. It takes energy to say yes when your whole being is screaming no. It takes energy to suppress your own needs and desires to accommodate others. It takes energy to pretend you are okay when you are not okay. This is not a passive state. It is an active, ongoing internal war. You have, in effect, posted an army of inner soldiers on the border of your consciousness, and their one and only job is to push back any unacceptable feelings, thoughts, or desires that try to surface. Anger? Push it down. Sadness? Push it down. The desire for a quiet afternoon alone? Push it down. This is the constant, invisible work that is truly draining your life force. I once worked with a client, a 42-year-old high school teacher named Sarah. She came to me convinced she was suffering from professional burnout. She was exhausted, irritable, and felt completely disconnected from the job she once loved. She had tried everything. She took a sabbatical, she reduced her course load, she started yoga. Nothing worked. The fatigue was relentless. I asked her a simple question from our inner work practice. What is an emotion you are not allowing yourself to feel right now? She was silent for a long time. Then she whispered, rage. She was furious with the administration for their lack of support, angry with the student who was consistently disrespectful, and resentful of her own inability to say no to extra committee work. But as a good teacher, she believed she wasn't allowed to be angry, so she suppressed it all under a mask of weary professionalism. Her burnout was not from the work itself. It was from the immense psychic energy she was expending every single day to hold down her rage. Her body was exhausted from the effort of this internal siege. The fatigue was her body's way of saying, I cannot maintain this war anymore. I have no more energy to fight myself. This is a profound reframing. Burnout, in this context, is not a failure of management. It is a crisis of authenticity. It is the cry of a soul that is exhausted from the civil war being waged within. Your body is not failing you. It is protecting you. It is making you too tired to continue the fight. It is forcing you into a surrender not to the external world, but to the truth of your own inner world. Pause here for a moment and consider the landscape of your own exhaustion. Is it possible that it's not just about your to-do list? Is it possible that a significant portion of your energy is being spent holding something down? What might that be? What unexpressed emotion, what unmet need, what unlived dream is demanding your energy from the shadows? You don't have to have the answer right now. The simple act of asking the question is the beginning of the shift. It is the beginning of a new investigation, one that looks not just at your calendar, but at your soul, because the solution might not be a better schedule, but a braver conversation with yourself.
So how do you know? How can you begin to distinguish between simple physical fatigue and this deeper soul-level exhaustion that comes from a neglected shadow? The clues are often subtle, masquerading as common psychological complaints or even personality traits. But when you look at them through a Jungian lens, a new pattern emerges. Your shadow, when it is starved for attention, does not just make you tired. It begins to hijack your life in very specific ways. Let's explore some of these distress signals. The first signal is a pervasive feeling of inauthenticity, or what is often called imposter syndrome. You might be successful, you might be praised, but deep down, you feel like a fraud. You feel like you are playing a part, wearing a costume, and you live in constant, low-grade fear that one day everyone will discover you are not the person you appear to be. I remember feeling this intensely. I was checking all the boxes of a successful life, yet I felt hollow, as if I was watching a movie of my life rather than actually living it. This feeling is a direct message from your shadow. It is the cry of your true self, reminding you that the persona you are presenting to the world is not the whole story. The exhaustion comes from the energy it takes to maintain this gap between who you are and who you are pretending to be. A second signal is the sudden, inexplicable overreaction. This is a classic sign of a repressed shadow. You are calm, patient, and accommodating for weeks. You handle major work crises with grace, and then your partner forgets to buy milk, and you erupt with a volcanic rage that feels completely disproportionate to the situation. Or a friend makes a casual comment, and you find yourself in tears, feeling deeply wounded. Afterwards, you are filled with shame and confusion. Why did I get so upset over nothing? It wasn't nothing. That nothing was simply the final straw that broke the dam, holding back a reservoir of suppressed emotion. Your shadow, denied a healthy outlet for its frustration or sadness, finds a crack and bursts forth. The energy it takes to constantly police that dam is immense. The burnout you feel is the exhaustion of the dam keeper. A third and very telling signal is a growing cynicism or resentment towards the world. You start to feel bitter. You find yourself silently judging people who seem happy, free, or successful. You might engage in gossip or find a secret, shameful pleasure in the misfortunes of others. This is often the shadow's anger turned outward. Denied the right to express its own needs and frustrations directly, the shadow begins to poison your perception of the world. Carl Jung would say that what irritates us in others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. When you feel that wave of cynicism, it is often your shadow projecting its own feelings of powerlessness and neglect onto others. It's a sign that your own unlived life is fermenting into bitterness. The energy drain comes from the constant, low-level toxicity of this worldview. Another clue is the compulsive need to stay busy. Do you feel a sense of panic in moments of stillness? Do you find yourself endlessly scrolling, cleaning, or organizing just to avoid being alone with your own thoughts? This is often a subconscious strategy to outrun the shadow. Your psyche knows that in the quiet moments, the whispers from the exiled parts of you might become audible. The sadness, the anger, the loneliness, they are waiting in the silence. So you create noise, you create busyness. Your exhaustion is not from the tasks themselves, but from the spiritual marathon of running from yourself. It is a profound fatigue born of self-avoidance. Finally, pay attention to your dreams. According to Jung, dreams are the pure, uncensored language of the unconscious. They are a direct line to the shadow. Are you having recurring dreams of being chased, of being trapped, of losing your voice? Are there figures in your dreams that frighten you or disgust you? These are not random neural firings. These are postcards from your shadow. The figure chasing you might be the very ambition you've suppressed. The locked room might be your own creative potential, begging to be let out. The energy you use to fight these dream figures at night and to dismiss them in the morning contributes to your waking exhaustion. Pause here and reflect on these signals. The feeling of being a fraud, these sudden overreactions, the growing cynicism, the need to stay busy, the messages in your dreams. Do any of these resonate? Recognizing these patterns is not a cause for alarm. It is a cause for hope. It means your exhaustion has a deeper meaning. It is not a random affliction. It is a purposeful, intelligent communication from your soul. It is telling you that the way you have been living is no longer sustainable. It is demanding a new way of being, one that makes space for the whole of who you are, not just the good and acceptable parts. It is an invitation to begin the sacred work of integration.
So, if your exhaustion is not just burnout, but a distress call from your shadow, what do we do? How do we begin to answer this call? The path forward is not about adding more to your plate. It is not about a new complicated self-care routine. The path forward begins with a radical act of energy conservation. It begins with slowly, intentionally withdrawing your energy from the war against yourself. You must begin the process of calling your soldiers home from the border of your consciousness. This is the beginning of all true healing. It is not an act of doing, but an act of undoing. The first practical step is to shift your perspective from management to curiosity. Instead of asking, "How can I get more energy?" I invite you to start asking a different, more powerful question. Where is my energy currently leaking? This question alone can change everything. It moves you from a place of deficit to a place of empowerment. You are no longer a victim of your fatigue. You are an investigator of your own energy system. Take out a piece of paper. You don't have to do it now, but I invite you to do this later today. And simply make a list. Where did your energy go today? Be honest.
It wasn't just the work meeting or doing the laundry. Did it go to pretending to be interested in a conversation you found boring? Write it down. Did it go to worrying about what someone thought of an email you sent? Write it down. Did it go to replaying an awkward social interaction over and over in your mind? Write it down. Did it go to swallowing an angry response to a passive-aggressive comment? Write it down. Did it go to feeling guilty for taking 15 minutes to just sit and do nothing? Write it down. I did this exercise myself years ago, and the results were staggering. I realized that a huge percentage of my daily energy was being spent on what I call persona maintenance, the exhausting work of upholding an image of being calm, competent, and agreeable at all times. The work itself wasn't burning me out. The performance of the work was. This awareness is the first step toward reclaiming your power. You cannot plug a leak until you know where it is. The second step is to introduce moments of conscious surrender. This does not mean giving up. It means surrendering the fight against your own inner experience. When you feel a wave of sadness, instead of immediately trying to cheer up or distract yourself, can you pause for just 30 seconds? Can you place a hand on your heart, take a breath, and just say, "Sadness is here right now. It is allowed to be here." When you feel a flash of anger, instead of shaming yourself for it, can you just notice it? Anger is present. You are not acting on it. You are not condoning it. You are simply acknowledging its existence. This is a practice of mindfulness, but with a Jungian depth. You are not just observing your thoughts. You are creating a space of hospitality for your emotions. Each time you do this, you are telling your shadow, "You are not a threat. You are a part of me." Each act of acknowledgement is like signing a small peace treaty in your inner civil war. It conserves an immense amount of psychic energy that would otherwise be spent on suppression. Carl Jung's concept of integration is not a lofty philosophical idea. It is built on these small, moment-to-moment acts of self-acceptance. The final step is to begin to reclaim your no, but not in a dramatic, confrontational way. Start small. Start in low-stakes situations. Can you say no to an extra serving of food you don't really want? Can you say no to watching a movie you have no interest in? Can you say, "I need a few minutes," before responding to a non-urgent request? I remember my first reclaimed no was to a friend who asked for a favor when I was already feeling completely drained. My heart was pounding as I typed, "I'm so sorry, I can't today, I'm at my limit." I was terrified she would be angry. Instead, she replied, "Of course, please take care of yourself." That moment was a revelation. I realized that my fear of other people's reactions was often a projection of my own inner critic. By saying a gentle, honest no, I was not only conserving my energy, but I was also honoring myself. And in doing so, I was inviting more authentic relationships. Each no to the external world is a yes to your inner world. It is a powerful way to redirect your life force back to where it belongs, to you. These three practices, investigating your energy leaks, practicing conscious surrender, and reclaiming your small no's, are the starting point. They are the practical first steps of answering your shadow's call. They begin to dismantle the systems of self-suppression that are causing your deep exhaustion. This is not about suddenly becoming a different person. It is about slowly, gently making space for the person you already are. It is about understanding that your burnout is not a sign of your weakness, but a sign of your soul's deep longing to be whole. And you deserve to be whole. You deserve to have your energy back.
Today, we have dared to ask a radical question. We looked at the bone-deep exhaustion that plagues so many of us and chose not to see it as a failure of time management, but as a sacred communication from the soul. We have reframed burnout not as a problem to be fixed, but as a distress signal from a shadow that is demanding our attention. We've identified the clues: The feeling of being a fraud, the sudden overreactions, the cynicism, the compulsive busyness, and the messages in our dreams. These are not signs that you are broken. They are signs that a powerful, vital part of you is trying to be heard. We also outlined the first practical steps toward answering this call: investigating your energy leaks, practicing conscious surrender to your feelings, and reclaiming your small, powerful no's. The journey out of this deep exhaustion is not about adding more self-care tasks to your already overflowing plate. It is about subtracting the exhausting task of self-suppression. It's about calling your inner soldiers home from the war. Every time you acknowledge a feeling without judgment, every time you say a gentle no, you are reclaiming a piece of your life force. You are plugging an energy leak. You are slowly but surely refilling your own well. I know this path can feel daunting. When you have spent a lifetime pushing parts of yourself away, the idea of turning to face them can feel overwhelming. But I want you to remember what we've learned from Carl Jung. What we find in the shadow is not just our pain, it is also our power. It is our unlived life, our creativity, our passion. And a part of that shadow, a very special part, contains the most brilliant aspects of ourselves. The anger you've suppressed holds the key to your boundaries and your passion. The sadness holds the key to your empathy. But what about the joy you've suppressed? The ambition you were told was too much? The talents you hid away so as not to outshine others? This part of the shadow has a special name. It is called the golden shadow. It is the repository of all the amazing, brilliant, powerful parts of you that you disowned because you were afraid they would make you too much, too bright, or too different. Your profound exhaustion might not only be from holding down your pain, but from the immense effort it takes to hold down your own magnificence. What if your fatigue is the result of keeping your own inner sun from rising? And that is where our journey must go next, to move beyond just acknowledging our pain and to begin the exhilarating work of reclaiming our power. How do you identify your golden shadow? What are the clues that point to the incredible talents you have hidden away? And how can embracing this golden part of you be the ultimate antidote to your burnout? That is the exciting exploration that awaits us. We will learn how to turn our envy into a map and our admiration for others into a mirror for our own hidden brilliance. In the comments below, I invite you to share one small energy leak you identified in your own life today. Was it a yes that should have been a no? A feeling you suppressed? By naming it, we make it conscious, and we take the first step in reclaiming that power. Thank you for your immense courage. The path to reclaiming your energy is the path to reclaiming your life. You deserve to feel vibrant. You deserve to feel whole.